Hello.
Hi, Jamie.
I was going to say, you sound really distant.
I won't be chewing on this the whole time.
You're fine.
My mouth's kind of dry already. Trying
Camera.
not- Oh yeah, do I need to send you a new camera?
I don't know what the fuck is going on with this thing. All right. Giving it the old N64.
What's that? Turn it off, turn it back on.
No, blow on it.
Oh,
You blow through yeah, I'm sitting down today. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to have a lot of time to sit down. So we're just going to go ahead and sit.
I was gonna sit in my other chair, but I was not in my office for most of the day. And
Mm,
so I was like, I really miss sitting in my nice, comfy crisscross chair,
yeah.
my TikTok chair. So I wheeled it all the way over here and didn't run over my foot this time.
Well, that's exciting
I
news.
think this might be the first time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I just didn't, I was like, I don't feel like standing today.
Yeah.
I usually do pretty good with standing. So
Yeah. I don't know how you do that. I can't stand that long. I can't even stand long enough to watch the
I,
dishes.
I have my Crocs and they're pretty comfortable.
Mm. So
So
what else do we
it's
have to
just us
talk
for
about?
chit chat today. I've got
Yeah, just
all
us for
sorts of
today.
stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
some things too.
one of the
Yeah.
things that I wanted to bring up before we get into like show recommendations
Okay.
and things was I'm curious, how many lip balms is too many lip balms for people? Like you see the videos of people that are like, I lost my purse chapstick, so I had to move my nightstand chapstick to my purse, and now lip balm, because I know chapstick is brand.
Right.
But I was just thinking about this the other day because I have a whole bunch of them. I have two sitting up. I have three sitting out on my desk right now. I
Mhm.
have my in office. I have one. I have purse lip balm. I have car lip balm. I
Mhm.
have bedside table lip balm. Like,
Mhm.
how many lip balms? And I am one of those that I obsessively use my lip balms till they get down to the nubbin and you can't use them anymore.
Oh yeah, I stick my pinky fingernail in there to scrape it out so that I
'Cause
can eat
eat.
it. So that I can use all of it.
What were those really flavorful ones that
Lip smackers.
yes, the lip
Lip smackers.
Amy's just over here chewing on her Dr. Pepper lip
Oh my God.
smackers.
Oh, okay. So the Dr. Pepper one, it smelled so good.
Uh-huh.
And I always like thought that it tasted like it, but it didn't really.
Uh-huh.
But when my friend Jancy and I were little, we all used to collect them and they were the big fat ones. They were really big
Okay.
and fat when we were little. And
Yeah, they figured out by the time I got a little bit older that they're like, hey, you know what? Kids are eating these things.
yeah, well, and they were so big, and back then your lips are so tiny, but
Yep.
so what my friend Jancy was like, you know what I realized you can do? And she rolled down the 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 stuff so the balm was the bottom, so just the skewer thing is sticking up. And she put her mouth over it and breathed in because she's like, that's how you get like the taste of the Dr. Pepper without eating the Dr. Pepper lip smacker. And she breathed in, and the little tiny nubbin of Dr. Pepper lip balm went shooting out of there and went to the back of her throat.
Uh-huh.
I can just still picture her going, and then the whole thing just went.
Oh God. Oh man.
But yeah, back then we had a lot of them. It was like a thing to have as many as possible.
Oh yeah. I mean, so I am probably close to double digits with the amount of lip balms that I have around places. So I just want to throw it out there to see, maybe we throw it out on our socials and see how many is too many for people.
Yeah.
And how many people are like us and obsessively get down to the bottom? Because I had somebody ask me this question once and I said, oh yeah, I'm almost down to the bottom of one. And they looked at me like, what do you can actually get down to the bottom of a lip balm? Like, yeah. And I am a vanilla mint is my favorite lip balm. Like the fruit ones are fine, but especially in the winter, I want one that tingles my lips. I want mint.
I like the mint stuff too. Yes, Burt's Bees makes a really nice minty one that I love, the peppermint one. I also like Burt's Bees, the clove one.
Okay.
It just smells so good. But yeah, those are yummy. I have 3, I think, at my normal desk. I have a lipstick over here.
Oh.
And then
I also have several lipsticks and lip glosses.
Yeah. And then I think I have like 3 in my purse, 1 upstairs in the bedroom, 1 in the bathroom.
Oh,
And
yep, I
think
have
there
a
might be
bathroom
one
one
more
too.
back here in the bathroom too. And then in the winter, I have them in my coat pockets too.
Yep.
So, yeah. No, I like them too.
You just gotta make sure that you don't put them through the washing machine because
yeah.
when that gets through the washing machine, it leaves waxy residue on everything and you don't notice it till it's too late.
Yeah, that's not good. There's also, when you first mentioned to me that you wanted to talk about excessive lip balm, it reminded me that I'm that way with perfume from this one perfumer that I go to. It's called Sugar Bay, which stands for,
Sugar Bay.
Translates to sugar bee in
Sugar bee,
French.
okay.
And so I bought, these are the 3 that I have at my desk all the time. This one is called Goth as Fuck. That's my favorite. And then this one's called You Caught Me Monologuing.
Oh.
And this one is called Forest Witch. And these are my favorites. I have another one that the Night King, because they name them after like groups. So like they have a My Favorite Murder series. And so they have You're in a Cult, Call Your Dad, Fuck Politeness. I can't remember what they all are. But they have a whole Game of Thrones series. But they're so good. And because they don't last super long on you. So I just put them on when I get down here. I put them on when I get out of the shower.
You'll have to show me those next time I'm over because I'm that super sensitive person. So I have to be very careful. I need to reply to an email really quick.
Okay.
It's a work one.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I draft things and then she makes it sound pretty. That's how we play.
Yeah. That's usually I'm the make it pretty one. People are like, this is what it has to say, make it sound good. And I feel like nowadays at work, there should be different drafts for different people. Like you know how I have written up stuff for you and Megan before? And I think I'm saying the same thing, but I have said it, like maybe we've done it twice. I don't remember what that was we were doing where, I think it was talking about the new like layout format.
Oh, yeah, it was the new layout because there was a way that you said it that I was like, wait, are we not doing like this?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that's how I meant we were doing it, but because mine and Megan's brains, mine and Megan's brains are not the same.
Right. I changed it because Megan didn't understand it. And so I'm like, I'll rewrite it and make it clear. And then Megan's like, perfect, I got it. And then you were like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Like, okay. And I'm like, in the between the way your brain works and the way her brain works, mine works a different way, but sort of like both of them, but not exactly. And so I always feel like I should be able to put myself in AP brain in order to write it this way, but then also Megan brain so I can make sure that it's explained this way. I probably just need 2 documents instead of trying to
I've now started to realize that because like a lot of people that I work with really just want things called out in lists.
Yeah.
That I do well. Like if you just bullet point and just put those in, which I think is why when I looked at the transcript this week, my brain was like, oh, this is easy. Whereas 2 weeks ago, I looked at it and I was like, fuck, no, I can't do this.
Really? Because I thought I did it the same way.
No, if you go back and look at them, they are like you use bigger words to separate the sections.
Oh.
And you use different colors. And it could even just be that, but there was more spacing between everything. Whereas before it was like trying to read a book. And I'm like, I can't read a book and watch a show.
And watch TV,
And try and connect. And my brain was just all in like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It just went into shutdown mode. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a look at this and see how it goes. I'm gonna test it for myself. But when I opened it this week, I was like, well, is this this is not how I remember it being last time. Is this different? So that's
I think I just made it a little prettier this time.
And the weird thing is I obviously have color association. Using blues, the one that we did a couple weeks ago was all oranges and reds. And blue is calming for my brain, I guess, because I looked at that and even just the colors and the way it was broken out, I was like, this is easier for me.
Huh. Interesting. And you're looking at it on black background too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to be different
I
than the way
barely
see it.
I barely see when yours are highlighted.
Oh, see, and I can barely see when yours are because they're green. And that looks just like the black.
And I used a darker green so that it wasn't the like bright neon green like this.
Yeah.
I can use whichever color. Yeah. And I think I don't know if you used a different font too.
I did,
but
I changed the font.
And Arial gets, because it's usually Arial and Arial gets so tight.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this
I
one.
know these are so like small and little things, but
No.
it obviously it triggered my brain completely differently in
Yeah.
2 different weeks.
Well, good. Because
So
I like it better this way too. It's easier for me too. So,
yeah,
I like it better with the lighter font, and the colors all helps me too. So
yes.
good.
Well, and I know, like I remember in college, I actually used to take notes in different colored pencils
Mhm.
or in markers.
Yep.
Because I remember on a zoology test, and the answer was like it was like multiple choice, but it was fill in the blank.
Mhm.
And it showed up blue in my brain. And so then the answer like changed to blue in my
Oh,
head.
uh-huh.
And that was the color that I had written that set of notes in was blue.
Oh, okay.
It was right.
Yeah,
So
good.
I don't know. It's just something I figured out.
It is.
And
Brains are so weird. It's so
right?
interesting how how some things work for people and some things don't.
I haven't done it for a while, but when I had to do really extensive lists, I would do every other row in a different color
Mm-hmm.
because then they pop out differently
Yep.
to me. Or I'll do them. It's kind of like when I make a grocery list,
Mm-hmm.
I make it based off of where things are related in the store.
Yep. Yep.
So then I do all my produce and things that are in the produce section.
Yeah.
But that's how like this is how everyone else is listening and going, God, this is boring as hell.
But there are people going, "Oh my God, me too, me too."
Or hey, maybe somebody recognizes a pattern with their kiddo and can help them study
or
with
spouse or something.
a
Yeah.
different way of things. So
Yeah. I use a cookbook, an online cookbook called Copy Me That.
Mm.
And so you can go to any website that has a recipe on it, and you just click they have a Chrome, doohickey extension.
Okay.
And so you just click on that and it finds the recipe and it puts it in your recipe book.
Oh,
Copies
nice.
it right in there. And then when you decide what you can make menus, so you can do like plan out your week. Monday we're doing this, Tuesday we're doing this, da da da. And then you can make a shopping list with all of that. And you click the button, it makes a shopping list, and it puts it all in, like you said, produce, this aisle, this aisle,
Nice.
dairy,
Yep.
whatever. And so it's all separate like that. And it will even merge, like if you need a cup of milk for one thing and a half a cup of milk for something else, it'll merge it together and say you need a cup and a half of milk. So
Nice.
it's really nice. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've just been I have when my grandpa was in the hospice care, or well, not hospice, it was the rehab facility. My mom had bought him a whiteboard calendar so that she could put on there like when his appointments were and when people were coming, because he would constantly he would call us several times a day and be like, well, when are you coming?
Yeah.
I guess they forgot to pick me up, and it's like, Grandpa, it's 7:30 in the morning. He was thinking it was 7:30 in the evening, like because he couldn't regulate his days, basically.
Right. That's
So
what my mom's doing too.
Yeah, it's hard. So we have that, and just been writing the calendar on that, and then putting in like what we plan to make for the week or what we have made on different meals, so that we kind of keep an eye. And then there's a spot for notes at the bottom. It's like, what do we have in the freezer we haven't used yet?
Yep. I did a whole inventory of everything that was, because we had a big freezer, like a deep freeze. I did a spreadsheet with an entire inventory of all the stuff that we had. And then I was like, so when you take something out, you have to check it off so that it comes off the spreadsheet. It lasted.
I bet Greg loved that.
He loved the idea, but he did not love remembering to check stuff off when he took it. So then I'm like, well, the spreadsheet shows that we have 4 pounds of chicken, but there's none in there. So that didn't last very long.
Yeah, well-meaning, well-intentioned. Then you're like, this is a lot to keep up.
It was a lot, but it was fun to do it.
Yeah.
Until I realized we weren't going to do it anymore.
Well, then I say, speaking of all the food stuff that we're talking about, you and I have been really chatting about Top Chef and Tournament of Champions and all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting so close to Top Chef. And I'm behind you on TOC.
Okay. Yep.
So
yeah.
We are on season 4, but there's only 4 chefs left. So that's where we are. We'll probably finish that tonight, actually. Yeah. So I'm excited. I think I know who won, but that's okay.
Who do you think?
I think it's Minate.
Okay.
Either that or she won. Is season 5 over?
Yes.
Okay, she may have won that one then. Because I saw her on Instagram holding that belt, and it wasn't the first time because she won, what, the first season? Second season?
She won season 2.
Okay, season 2. Because then when season 3 was over and she wasn't the winner, I'm like, well, I thought my meat won. And Greg's like, well, who told you that? And I said, Instagram. And then I went, oh my God, we're watching this like 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So she won either 4 or 5.
The first season was 2020.
Yeah. And everybody was in masks. There was like 5 people in the audience.
Actually, I don't think the 2021 they were in masks. 2021 they were because because
this was
2020 would have been filmed in 2019.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, I love the concept of that show. I
do
just
too.
think I love the randomizer. You can tell.
Yes.
I mean, there are ones that I'm on there and I'm like, what would you do? Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do with that, but it's kind of fun because you can definitely tell the difference in the chef's styles. Ones who really came up in this whole competition type worlds that we're in or have been thriving in that, and ones that are well-known chefs who just can't get it.
Yeah. They're restaurant chefs, not competition chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a reason why some of them have always been the judges.
Yeah.
Though it would be awesome to see what like Eric Ripert or
oh my God.
Nancy Silverton would come up with on some of those. You'd have to give them as much time as they wanted, though.
Yeah.
You have 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah, like both of those, and also Scott Conant. He judges everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen him cook on Chopped. Is it? No, not Chopped. What's the one where they?
Yeah, he's done Chopped. I think.
Was it Chopped? Where was what during the pandemic when they would it was guys' show though. Must have been grocery games.
Yeah, he did the grocery games
box.
at home.
Yeah, and they'd send the whole box to them, and then they cook in their kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That was so fun. I love that.
Yeah. Which, by the way, so sidetracking, have you watched the Selena Gomez one where she learns to cook and she's I love her. She's adorable.
She's the cutest.
So she had ones that where she either had them on video or they came into her house and taught her, and she's got like her best friend there, and my mom and I are watching one. I'm like, her best friend's kind of the comedic relief, like she's in there to just like say things. Well, she's eating shredded mozzarella out of one of the plastic tubs that they use for like prep work, and it's falling down her shirt. She's digging it out, and Selena looks at her and he's like, so we're not using that. But like, so her show now is that she is going to restaurants and she is learning, like, so she goes to Shirley Chung's restaurant.
Oh,
and her goal is, so like they sit down and they eat like the top items on the menu and that sort of stuff. And then Selena's goal is to make a meal in the restaurant that maybe one of the dishes they would put on their menu.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool just to kind of see it, because she's not classically trained chef. Like,
right.
She knows things like the rest of us have figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she gets to work with a lot of really cool people. So.
Yeah, I'm sure she learned a lot from the first show where she was teaching, or they were teaching her.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I adore her.
I would throw that on your list of things to watch. But back to TOC, I hope that they start shifting from East and West competition.
Yeah, because it's the same people battling each other a lot.
And you'll see it again in season 5. I mean, they're great competitions, but it's always the same two competing against each other. And that show is constantly evolving. It has never been the exact same season after season. Between the first season and second season, they added another whole 16 people, basically.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, it's amazing the names they get there. Whenever you watch the first episode of a season, you're like, oh my God, she's on? Oh my God.
I know that person.
Yeah, I know most of them. I'm actually shocked when I don't know somebody. I'm like, who's that guy? You know that guy?
I know. I've had to do who's that? And I got to look up where they're from.
And what have I seen him on before? If I've seen him on anything.
Actually, watching that show is the reason we went to Nashville in 2021, because they talked about Manit's restaurants in Nashville. And I was like, I want to go try those out. So we did. And we went to the Shohan Ale House, and it was so good. But none of us realized that when you're ordering the entrees, because it is Indian style food, like you should be sharing them.
Oh, they're big?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good to know. Because usually Indian food restaurants, that their portions are kind of small
Oh,
when you
yeah.
just order
Nope.
for yourself.
Yep.
So it's like a
Nope.
little tiny thing that's like this big. And it fills you up,
Yeah.
but
No,
always
these
looks so
were
small.
there was a plenty,
Good.
and it was so good.
Hmm.
So
Maybe I'd like to go there for a food tour.
Mhm.
Nashville. Friend of ours, Dave, wants us to go to New Orleans, and I know they have good food, but I don't think I can handle the humidity in New Orleans. I don't know if I want to go,
Yeah,
but we'll see. So we have a couple other things. So we wanted to talk about not just cooking shows.
I know, but you went to Owamni.
Oh yes, since we're on food, yes.
Mm-hmm.
This past Saturday, we went to Owamni, and this was because a couple episodes ago of Top Chef,
Sean Sherman.
Sean Sherman, that's his name, the sous chef, Sioux chef. He was on Top Chef, and they were showing his food. He was judging one of the competitions, and so they were showing all of his food, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful! It
Mhm.
looks so good." And the chefs are all eating it, and they're like, "Oh my God, I've never had anything like this before. This is so good." And I thought, we've been wanting to go to Owamni since it opened, and it's always been like months and months out for reservations. And I thought, if I don't check this right now, especially now that it's been on Top Chef, we're never getting in.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled up my phone and I got a reservation like 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. And so, yeah, we went this weekend. It was so good. It's a really cool place. First of all, the one side of the building one side of the restaurant is all windows looking over the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
They have a nice patio outside, and it was a beautiful day. And it's all set up really kind of long, and like there's only like 2 tables across from each other, the width of the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And then the length of the restaurant is really long. But the food was really good. It's all shareable plates too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could eat the whole thing if you wanted to, if you were super hungry and you just wanted to try one thing, but we wanted to try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And so we got a whole bunch of just small plates, and then one entree, which was a shareable entree, which was duck breast. And I'm not a huge fan of duck, but it
I
was
do like duck.
really, really good. It was really good. They cooked the skin really crispy, so it wasn't blubbery.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes duck could
Yeah,
be
if you
kind
don't
of blubbery.
if you don't render the fat down in duck, you can, yeah.
It can get kind of fatty, yeah. But it wasn't. It was delicious. It was so good. We had a corn chowder, which was a thing I was super, super excited about.
Yum.
And it was a corn chowder, and it had popcorn on it, and it had a corn dumpling in it, and it was really good. Everything was really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, you gotta go.
I think my mom and I want to try and get in sometime, and I know with my brother would probably want to go too. But well, good. I'm glad you had a good experience with
Yes,
that.
it was wonderful. I
It
highly
sounded
recommend.
so good.
And I think that he has another restaurant in Wisconsin, which is the one that they were kind of promoting for Top Chef, because of course that takes place in Wisconsin. But ours is in Minneapolis, downtown. And parking is no fun, but we had to walk a couple blocks, but that's fine.
That's the way it is.
I can use my steps. I always need steps, so
yeah,
it's all good. Super fun. Okay. What else? What else should we go?
Well, I have kind of a hack for cocktails for the summer.
Yeah. Okay.
This is, I mean, I did it and I was like, duh, why haven't I done this before? So if you're like me, you like to try new things. So you end up getting half bottles of crap laying around, and you're like, I got to get rid of, like, I got to use this stuff up at some point.
Oh, you froze.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Did you find me?
Yeah. You just like that for a little bit, and then I didn't
rude.
hear you, so.
How rude. But I took a couple partial bottles of vodka, dumped them into mason jars with some frozen berries in them, and cut up some lemon slices, threw those in, shook them up, put them in the fridge. Next day, I took them out and muddled the berries around a little bit, shook them up, threw them back in the fridge for a little while. And I did the same thing with some bourbon. And now I'm not a bourbon drinker.
Right.
I like brown liquor is not my thing.
Mhm.
But I had some of these and we had some dark cherries and some clementines. So I threw in the frozen dark cherries and sliced up a clementine and put that in there. Did the same thing, shook it up. Next day, muddled it. And then I was like, we've got a pool. We're getting the patio redone, which is another nightmare. And I was like, well, why don't I just get a bottle of lemonade, like good lemonade, dump a little bit of out, and then pour the vodka in or pour the bourbon in. So I actually tried the bourbon with lemonade. It was so good because it took like the cherries, the sweetness of the cherries and the little acid of the orange, like hold out that bitter part that you get out of bourbon and mix that with lemonade. It was just, I mean,
Yum.
so good. So easiest little hack if you have like a group coming over, just get a bottle of lemonade instead of like you can make your own with, juicing your lemons and your limes and make your simple syrup and stuff. But you know what? Simply lemonade makes a damn good lemonade.
It does. It does. And their limeade makes a good margarita.
And they also have mocktail ones right now. So they have they do have a lime margarita one. They have like a sour peach and I can't remember what the third one is.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is my little hack of if you've got people coming over or if you just want to have something where you can pour something easy without having to measure stuff.
Yeah.
You just mix it in that. I mean, how many videos have you and I sent each other of people doing like freezer door espresso martinis or other things like that? It's the same concept. So
or like the pitcher margaritas where you just throw in the frozen limeade, frozen lemon or frozen orange juice and then just some water and some booze and shake it all up.
Yeah.
Stick a straw in it.
I guarantee people have a partial bottle of rum or gin or vodka sitting around and they're going, I don't know what I'm going to mix this with. Here you go.
Yeah.
Frozen fruit.
Yeah. Good idea. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think last on our list is recommendations.
Yes.
Because I have shows, you've got a show or candy and
I do have candy. I'll do the candy since we're still on food and drink right now. So I went to the Asian store yesterday again. And I got this. I can't see me right now. I can only see you. So
XO coffee.
Yeah. XO coffee candy. And it is individually wrapped. Little lozenges. And they are so good. It's like a really, really rich candy flavor. A really rich coffee flavor, I mean. They're from Jack and Jill. It says Jack and Jill XO coffee candy. I don't know where you would get them other than, Asian grocery store. Oh, they're from the Philippines. Well, they're delicious. So if you see those in the store, get them. I think you're frozen. Again. Are you frozen? I can't. You're not moving and I can't hear you.
Only me that has the problems.
Oh. What happened?
I don't know. You froze and it looked like you were holding up like a little fish.
Oh.
With your candy.
I was holding up a little, they're individually wrapped. So.
Yes. I think I've had those.
Really? Oh, God.
They look really good.
Oh, they're so
I
good.
love anything coffee like that.
Oh, you would love these. And they're really nice, deep, rich flavor. And that whole bag was only $3. I'll get some more next time.
Nice.
I'll give you one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. All right. What else we got? Anything else food related?
I don't think I have any more food related. I do have a couple of shows that I have binged since last we spoke. And yeah, I would one Bodkin I told you about.
I had forgotten that you told me about it and I started watching it today.
Will Forte in it.
That's his name. I'm like, it's the guy that's not Bill Hader. I get him mixed up because they were both on SNL and they look sort of similar.
Yep.
Yes, Will Forte.
Similar mannerisms. Yeah. It takes you on a little wild ride. And You're gonna have some really fun audio when you start listening to Audacity.
Oh yeah. Oh, I suppose. But
Because I'm just
like, oh, where'd you go?
I know. I don't know what's going on, but some gremlins are happening or something.
Well, I put my incense on, but yeah, loft that around. Sage this shit.
Yeah, I mean both times I like all of a sudden you've been frozen and then I just don't hear anything and I'm like, well, she's gone again.
And that's what I see. It looks like you're just listening to me, but then you don't move. Oh, it just happened
Same.
again.
Oh, nope.
It just
We're doing
happened for a second.
I know I saw it happen on my end. So it's something between our connections because it's
Weird.
happening not it's happening simultaneously.
Yeah. I wonder if should we just get out and go back in?
Maybe. No, it's loading my apps. I don't know why it's
What's
doing
that
that.
mean?
I have no idea. That's funny.
Okay.
I'm going with it's because I'm decided to sit down today that the gremlins decided to be like, no, you should have been standing. Being
Well, that
helpful
could be.
gremlins.
Who knows?
But yeah, so Bodkin.
Yes. Bodkin.
I just enjoy the show. There's a couple mysteries, and at one point you're like, would you just get to the bottom of this mystery so that we can but they're all intertwined and kind of raveled together, and you learn a lot in the penultimate episode.
Mhm.
And there's only 7 episodes.
Okay. I think I watched 5 today.
You learn a lot in 6.
Okay. Okay. Well, and I had to switch my cell phones around. I'm moving moving my work phone to whatever. So I had both my phones up and I was trying to match them up so I wasn't really paying attention 100%. But I think Greg would like the show too. So I think I'll just start over and watch it with him.
Yeah, you're going to want to watch for the little details and some different things. So
I noticed in the beginning there were some things that I would have missed if I wasn't paying attention. And then I got busy with doing this other thing. And so I'm like, I bet I'm missing a lot. Yeah. So
it was very good. And that's on the darker side. And then I have Geek Girl is the other one that I want to recommend to people. And it is so much on the lighter side. But what I love about this show, there's 10 episodes. They're like half-hour shows. We watched 5 of them last night.
Wow. Okay.
So it's about a girl we're in London, high school age for us Americans. So teenagers, 16, I think is her age. Socially awkward. I related so hard to this character because there's just they give a little bit of her internal monologue where she's like, don't say that, don't say something smart, say something cool. And we've all been there where we don't say that. And then it comes out of your mouth and you're like,
yep.
What did I say? She's kind of a fun fact person. So again, super relate, especially in those situations where you don't know what else to say. She's like, well, did you know that blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I relate to this. And I was like this in high school too. I've always been like this. But she ends up going in the first episode. Her friend is obsessed with modeling. They won a contest and their class got to go to the London Fashion Week show. And so they got to go and in hopes of some of them being discovered or whatever. Well, she falls and somebody records it and makes fun of her and they post it online and stuff. But the people who come over to help her up are modeling agents. And there's something about her that they like. And she's unique and quirky and she doesn't want to do it because she doesn't want to be up in front of people being made fun of or any of that sort of stuff. And then something happens in one of her classes where literally a girl stands up and goes, who hates so-and-so? Raise your hand. And it's horrifying. And, they've been
so mean.
Oh, and just, the bullying of her just because she's different. Oh, and she's good friends with her dad and her dad's wife, who's her stepmom and all this stuff. So she has a unique, quirky friend who lives across the street who I think likes her other friend. But anyways, so she decides that she wants to try and pursue this modeling thing because she wants to change how she sees the world and how the world sees her. So,
good. All right.
I would highly recommend it. Again, it hits all the different kinds of feels. It's not dark like Vodkin, but it is I found it very relatable just because like I still do that. You guys know this. If you've been listening at all since I've been on, you know that I'm like,
Fun fact.
did you know? And I can't help it. There are some times where I'm just like, no, that's not right. You have to do it like this. And I don't mean it. I'm sure some people are like, oh, she's kind of mean about this. I don't mean it. It goes in my brain like, gotta correct. Like I'm not trying to make somebody like call somebody out on being wrong about something. It's just my brain is like, you'll get it.
Yeah. No,
So
I get that. I understand.
I think you'll like it. And I don't think it's a Greg show.
No, I'll watch that one on my own. I
I
probably
think
should have watched that today instead, because it's funny that came up for me today too,
Mhm.
and I ended up watching Bodkin instead. But I didn't remember you talking about either one of those. I remember you talking about shows, and
Mhm.
actually, when I saw the Geek Girl one, I was like, "Is this what Annie was talking about?" But I didn't remember for sure that it was.
Yep. Yeah.
I should have watched that one, but that's okay. I'll watch that one next time I have a day off.
Yeah. Do you have any shows to recommend?
I do. We just watched one episode of Ripley,
Oh, yeah. I've heard about
which
this.
is Andrew Scott, who was, if you remember Fleabag, he was Hottie Priest, the hot priest in Fleabag. Oh, Fleabag is good. So he's a cutie, and so you know the older movie, I can't remember when it came out, 90s sometime, Matt Damon and Jude Law, the talented Mr. Ripley.
I remember the name more than I remember the movie, but I'm
Okay.
sure I've seen the movie.
Probably Gwyneth Paltrow was in it too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same character. It's Tom Ripley is this character who's he's a grifter, con man kind of guy. And so Andrew Scott plays him, and so I just saw the first episode where he's meeting Dickie, who was the Jude Law character.
Okay.
And it's really good. It's shot in black and white.
Yes.
And it's very artistic. It's very beautiful to look at, which is like, it takes place in these beautiful locations too. And so you're like, I kind of do want to see that in color.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's shot really well. It's really artistic. It's funny. It's well written. It's got Andrew Scott. And yeah, I'm excited to see more. I just watched the first episode.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. And the only other thing I wanted to recommend is, and I believe we talked about this before. I know we talked about it on Patreon with our patrons, but Leisha, our patron, recommended this podcast called Unobscured. And I remember, this is an Aaron Mahnke podcast. So it's the guy that did Lore and Cabinet of Curiosities. And he's got a bunch of them. But this one, it's a different thing each season. And season 1 was about Salem witch trials. And season 2 is all about spirituality and like the Fox sisters and how how the history of how spirituality has come into the world. And I've been listening to it at night when I go to sleep, and it's so good. It's keeping me awake, but it's because I'm so interested.
That is the exact reason I can't listen to things to fall asleep to.
Yeah. I can listen to some stuff because either I've heard it before or it's just so like mumbly and inane that it doesn't matter. But if it's stories, I will usually lay awake and listen. Or I'll fall asleep and then wake up and be like, it's over? What happened? I didn't hear how it ended. And then I'll put it back on again and I'll fall asleep in the same spot.
I'll sleep at the same spot.
There's one podcast episode, I can't remember which one it is, but I think it's Fairy Tales for Unwanted Children. But I've listened to it 3 times and I still don't know how it ends because I keep falling asleep.
Love
it. He has a really nice voice. So I think that's probably, I did want to just mention, Shannon noted on Patreon today that I talked about how I was going to get a CPAP and I had some problems with the CPAP last time. We recorded me talking about it and then I cut it out because I figured out what the solution was. But she said, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to sleep so much better. That's what everybody's told me. I've been sleeping with it for, I think, 18 days now. And I don't really notice a difference. I don't think I feel like I slept any better. And it's kind of a pain in the ass to have that thing on my face all night.
Yeah.
So you only have to have it on for 4 hours. They want you to have it on for 7, but you have to have it on for 4 in order for insurance to pay for it. So I wake up and I'm like, has it been 4 hours yet? Has it been 4 hours? And then if it is, I whip it off and then I go to sleep and snuggle in like I'm actually comfortable. Maybe I'll get used to it and maybe it'll be something I can use all night. But I like the feeling of it. I like the feeling of the air blowing in my face and my nose. Because it doesn't, you'd think that would feel weird.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It just feels nice. Except that mine just goes over my nose, not my mouth. So you're supposed to sleep with your mouth closed, right? And when it's blowing air in my nose, if I open my mouth, the air comes out of my mouth. Because it goes like this and comes out of my mouth. It's hilarious. So I'm like, hey. It's so weird talking with that thing in my mouth. Or like I try to yawn or I cough and I'm like,
oh God.
It's so bizarre. But it's
so bizarre.
I know. It's cool. Anyway.
Well, should we dive into it now?
I think we should just dive right in. It's been an hour.
I knew we'd have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I know. That's good. I'm glad. I'm going to try and get us through the actual run through quickly. Like just hit the things we have. Like we don't have to talk about anything we don't have a comment about. So
sounds good to me.
I'm going to try that. All right. Should we?
You want to do your countdown?
I'll do a countdown. And then you can start.
Yeah, we're ending here, Amy. We're ending here. Cut here.
Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.